Can we share the heaven with all? Basanti joined as caretaker and helper in our house. When she first time came to our house, she was surprised and astonished to see air conditioning. And when she made food, she said कि PNG से खाना कैसे बनता है खाना? कभी PNG कभी गैस सिलेंडर नहीं देखा था. And when we inquired, we found out that there is no electricity in her village. There is a pole of electricity, but there is no electricity wire, and the villagers are waiting for electricity for last 10 years. So she said कि ये तो स्वर्ग है. So my question is, can we share our heaven? So are we living in heaven? Right? If for 10 minutes electricity is not there, let us assume the electricity lights go off, power cut is there. I will not be able to communicate with you, this mic will not work, these cameras will also not work, we will not be able to write and read properly. And if the power cut is long, then we will not be able to pump water also, we will not be able to eat food also. So the basic question is, how can we share the heaven with others? Can we share the heaven with all our fellow countrymen? So the answer is, the motto of the conference is energy for all. If you see the book, the name of the book, of conference book, we have made it energy for all. The question is, how do we share heaven with everyone? So what we have done is, we have devised, this is the precise objective of the conference. That is why I am telling all of you this thing. We have devised, 3 themes. First theme is, make in India new and renewable energy. Most of the equipments for new and renewable energy like solar has to be imported from other countries. They are not manufactured in India. So the difficulty is the cost, there is cost escalation. We have to encourage entrepreneurs to make equipments of new and renewable energy in India, so that the cost of electricity is reduced or the government ki targets they are achieved. First theme is there. After this session, the first theme will be this, then we'll discuss all these things. Second theme is produce in India power. So there is some requirement and there is some generation capacity. If the production of power is increased, so what will happen? It will automatically reach the right person where it should reach. If you just step 200 kilometers from Delhi, you will see there are power cuts, 2 hours, 3 hours, 10 hours, sometimes the power cuts are 20 hours. So in most of the places, the infrastructure is there, but there is no power. So if we are able to generate more power, automatically it will reach the last person in the village. Third theme of the conference is, find in India petroleum and energy gas. We are blessed with a huge landmass. We are a very lucky country. We have a huge, seas with us. Even ocean has been named after Indian Ocean. So we have so many islands. If we explore properly, find in India. If we try to find, we will find abundance of natural gas, energy gas, and petroleum. So our dependency on other countries will reduce drastically. So third scheme is, find in India petroleum and energy gas. If we find in India, it will contribute to energy security of the nation also, and it will give benefits to our citizens also. So these are the 3. So we come again to the basic question, can we share heaven with all? Yes, the answer is we can share heaven with all, and the objective is energy for all, and these are the 3 steps. If we follow, it will have a long-term repercussions in Indian society. This is the first conference, but whenever you progress to the second and third conference, you will see the outcome coming up. So what we will do is, we will deliberate on these 3 aspects, how to share heaven, and with these 3 things in mind, we will document it. We will document our suggestions for the whole day, whatever deliberations are going on. conference outcome book will be prepared, and it will be presented to Honorable President of India, and it will be shared with all the ministries, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Ministry of Coal, Ministry of Petroleum and Energy Gas, Ministry of Power. Then it will be shared with all the state governments, so that they have clear vision as to what we have to do so that the objective of energy for all is achieved. With these introductory remarks, with these thoughts, I welcome our esteemed guest, Honorable Justice Surendra Kumar, who is also chairperson of the International Energy Conference. He is Judicial Member, Appellate Tribunal for Electricity. We welcome His Excellency High Commissioner of Cyprus, Dr. Dimitrios Theoplaktou. He is guest of honor. We welcome Shri Sukesh Kumar Jain, Secretary Power, guest of honor, Government of NCT of Delhi. We welcome Manniya Anupriya Patel ji. She is Member of Parliament, Dynamic Leader, and she is also Member of Standing Committee on Petroleum and Energy Gas. We are privileged to have amongst us experts from across the national and international energy spectrum. It is only with an open, wholehearted approach that the conference like this will be truly effective in enabling us to improve our knowledge and understanding in the energy sector. So finally, I summarize my welcome speech. Can we share the heaven with everyone? Answer is yes, we can do it. By ensuring energy for all. How do we ensure energy for all? There are 3 steps. Make in India new and renewable energy. Produce in India power. Find in India petroleum and energy gas. So, yesterday I was, discussing this matter with my wife, and she said, "We are in this world to bring heaven down to earth." So I said, I'll just, this will be my concluding remark. It is now an honor and privilege to declare officially open the TLA International Energy Conference 2016 and wish you fruitful deliberations. Thank you so much.
Power and environmental management of rivers and lakes. And alumnus of IIT Roorkee and IISc Bangalore has over 34 years of experience to share. The Government of India appointed him an independent director on the board of National Hydropower Corporation Limited in November 2015. Professor Kumar.
Dignitaries on the dais and dear delegates, invited guests. The topic is Make in India. First of all, I like to say that it's renewable energy, and renewable energy, as you know, it's all indigenous, means all the source of all fuel or everything belongs to the country. So that itself is a Make in India. In terms of equipment, everything, I would like to say most of the equipment are in India except some minors or some of the important also, but at the same time we are in that. So I'll be just taking a round of the resources and what we are here. It will take about a few minutes. And I'll take quick on this because many things you may be knowing also, and many things you will be exposed first time. So if you look at the country's scenario of the power, we are about 2.8, like 282 gigawatt at the moment, and out of them still we have dominated with the thermal. In terms of sectors, private sector of course is coming now forward since we have entered into the private sectors since 91. And in terms of renewable energy, it has got about 42,000 at the moment. In March last month, 42,000. But in terms of contribution of electricity, it's about 6-7%. But the country is still having some deficit in terms of peak. In terms of our score, in terms of electricity production, we are third almost in the world after China and US. So the country is big, obviously need is also big. So accordingly, we have to have the electricity. In terms of renewable energy, it has started having a significant contribution, especially the grid even, because earlier it was not grid, it was mostly decentralized, but now it's grid. And it's a visible impact because right now all over the policy, all over the concentration is on this. renewable program is driven by private sector mostly. I would like to say even there are government scheme, but it is the private sector which is on the scene. In terms of you look at the progress on this, if you see that my progress curve, earlier it was relatively slow. I mean, if you look at the last 10-15 years, but now it's rising rapidly. And as globally also, we are in the pace in the global development. So we are going to move very rapidly on this. But please understand, renewable energy produces electricity with lower power load factor if I compare to other thermals which has got 80-90% power load factor. So that means 1 megawatt gives me about 67 lakh units from thermal, but on the other hand, renewable gives me much lower, maybe 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs. In terms of credentials, I would like to say we have developed about 5%, 6%. We are 5th overall in RE in the world. We are the 5th largest in the wind and 2nd largest in the biogas plants, but more road to come because we still have a lot of rural-based economy. We have 6 million decentralized systems, and I would say that single largest capacity-wise after thermal in terms of. Potential is good, I mean there is no doubt about it, especially the solar one, but still we have a lot of figures to go. These are some figures of potential. In terms of cost, I would like to say, and cost, there are two things. Cost and also environment, like what is emission rates from each energy source. So I would like to say, our emission source, renewable energy is well known for that. Their emission sources are much lower. No electricity come free, please understand. Every electricity has certain emission rates, even wind also, even solar also, because we produce the equipments by consuming a lot of electricity which has otherwise consumed electricity, which is from the carbon based. But in terms of we are relatively low, and I would like to say hydro, which is known that it is much more, it is much less compared to even the wind and solar. In terms of cost, renewable energy in some sector is a little high, but now especially the biomass based solar hydro, they are quite competitive. So renewable energy was not competitive few years back, but now it has become quite competitive. And of course, it has got one of the serious handicap that it is intermittent in nature, variable in nature, as not compared to our other thermals, which is quite dispatchable. In terms of Indian scenario, by 2020, so right now, about 6 years now, India aimed to go for 175 gigawatt. In fact, this gigawatt terms has suddenly come up since last RENUS. Otherwise, we used to talk in megawatt only, because 1000 megawatt makes me 1 gigawatt. So about 175 gigawatt, and out of that major capacity, I would not like to say electricity. Please be very careful on this. Capacity will come from solar, which is about 100 gigawatt. That's what is being planned, and I think they are going on. And then second is wind and the bio, and then hydro, small hydro, not the large one. And even in the in the solar, 100 gigawatt, solar park about 20 gigawatt, and about unemployed youth, farmers, etc. about 10. But 30 in the government sector, and 40 solar rooftop. Solar rooftop is one of a very nice concept, because we are able to use electricity right there we consume also. So that means my electricity distribution losses are very low, and this is where we can use, or we are using, and this program is in a very on a very high pitch at the moment, because it gives me a lot of other ways benefits too. In terms of commitment, global commitment by the government, like last COP21 in Paris, Government of India along with others has committed that we are going by 2030, we are going to reduce our emission by 30 to 35%. So that means our production of electricity must come from renewable resources by 40%. And that figure is too high. At the moment it is 6%. In the next 15 years, we are going to aim 40%. And please also understand, even the thermal and other also will rise. It's not that we are going to stop them. So if you look at our commitment, by 2030, renewable energy has a fairly good share, about out of that solar, etc. So out of 800 over gigawatt, solar has good share of that, because that's what government of India has committed. And this commitment has got a lot of international bearing, so these commitments are not to be taken lightly. Of course, we have enablers, as most of you are legal practitioners, so you can see that we need to have all those issues related, and everywhere we have a legal angle of this, whether it's land, whether it's capital, whether it's a transmission, policy, regulatory, etc., everywhere we are talking about. In terms of supporting mechanisms, there are good renewable sources, and there are a lot of good policies that are coming up. Technology-wise, wind we are making. In fact, we have 18 manufacturers in India and global leaders, and we are exporting our product to many countries like United States, Australia, and other places. You know, you can see the wind farms across the India. I mean, wherever the potential is, of course. And largest size in India so far is about 2 megawatt, 2 plus. Of course, there will be some more people may talk about it, but 70 to 80% components are unionized. So that kind of thing. We have also a very wonderful center of National Institute of Wind Energy. In terms of solar, and if you look at the wind potential, it's mostly on the coastal area. And then you say similarly, you have the solar potential, and that's a high potential. I'm talking about that. In terms of mission, we had mission launched in 2010. That time we were talking about 20,000 megawatt of solar, but now with the revised mission, we're going for 100. I mean, 1 lakh megawatts. So we have double, 5 times maybe. And things are moving. It's not that they are moving. Manufacturing wise, we have annual production capacity about 750 megawatt of the PV cells, and for the modules about 1250 megawatts, because we're importing some of the material, silicon, etc. from outside. And I would say the mega capacity of projects are underway. You can see the huge plants are coming up. Even you can see even a roof, a single largest roof of 12 megawatt at one place. In fact, my campus, IIT Roorkee, has got 2 megawatt on only academic blocks. And we are, for residential, we are using for heating, but only academic blocks, we have 2 megawatts. But you can see here about 12 megawatt in a single roof. You also can have a curvy roof like Delhi Metro are using. So these kind of programs are very popular. In a small hydro, we have about potential-wise 20,000 plus. In fact, with the new estimates, around 25,000 megawatt. We have about 9-10 good manufacturers, global manufacturers in India. So manufacturing capacity is there. And if you look at that, all types of projects are there, which has got, because it's water, and water is not a single use. Water has got multiple use, so there is a many times it is conflict, and also it is in resonance with other use. You can even use, these are photographs of Delhi Jal Board, where wastewater, which meets the draining water supply, which comes out of the pipes, good potential, 50 kilowatt, 100 kilowatt, those kind of things are being now explored. And equipments are available, it's not that equipments are not available. Biotechnology wise, we have good, all biomass routes are available, good manufacturing capacity in India. Say Bagasse, which is with the solar, most of the sugar factories and having this, and more than 3,000 megawatt has been developed, which has been co-generation cost. And this is where I would like to say in energy, I like to put a little bit focus on this, because energy is used to be engineer dominated, earlier. Then economists came because financing started coming in. And then environment came, because earlier there was no environment concern, but now in the 70s onwards, we have the Environment Act, etc. They have started revolution. Later on, sociology is coming, because when you plant a plant, immediately that you have to move some people out, you have to displace them, and thosely. And earlier days, like when we made the Bhakra, at that time the issue was not that dominating. But now, if you do like Tehri Dam or any kind of big projects, the sociologist comes, and that's a big issue. Resettlement is a major issue. In fact, most of the projects are in a problem because of the issues. But of late, these are also being resolved. But of late, these are no more. They are still there dominating, but they are, I would like to say, subdominating. Now we have the concern what is happening nearby on the biodiversity, flora, fauna, including the fish, including the deers. So that kind of evolution thinking is there. Hence our attention of energy generation has to address this. We cannot get rid of this, that, okay, we want only energy. We have to take care of all these issues. So my cost of electricity has to be taken care of these kind of issues. So that is, we have to be very careful of this. In terms of our regional, we have 5 grids, regional grids. Earlier they were not connected in turn, now all, including the southern grid, has been connected, and that gives me a lot of wonderful opportunity of generating renewable energy. Because renewable energy is intermittent in nature, and this intermittent nature can take care of if we have a nice grid. And obviously, we have a possibility of storing that electricity by pump storage. And if you look at the pump storage schemes, they are on areas where quite a good demand and quite a good of renewable energy potential. So they go together. So even in the region wise, and of course, since we already have complete integration, hence renewable energy, even though intermediate, can be very well supported by these kind of systems. So with this, thank you very much, because I just wanted to a quick round off of the technology. Thank you.